Hello and welcome to the Keeper's Corner podcast with your hosts Matt Sterling and Brandon and Michelle Brooks. We are breaking down anything and everything Utica City. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 7 of the Keeper's Corners podcast. This week we just have the last two teams that Utica faces throughout the season to discuss. And then we look forward to next week's scrimmage against Team Canada.
Game.
And
Fine.
Speaking of Team Canada, that should lead us to the fact that they're split between the Canadian national futsal team and the Metrostars Canada. Michelle, you were covering them this week?
Uh-huh. So for the 2018-2019 Metrostars, they had a 4-20 record. Fourth in the MASL Eastern Division, they had 120 goals for versus 95 against, and that was their inaugural season.
Fun tidbit there. That negative 64 goal differential was third worst in the MASL.
You still have to remember that they still
They
beat
beat
Utica.
Yeah.
St.
they did.
Patrick's Day Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
Their first game of the season is Friday, November 22nd against the Rochester Lancers at the Meridian Center. Playing the Lancers again on Sunday, November 24th at the Meridian Center. They play the Baltimore Blast on Saturday, December 7th at the SECU Arena and play the Harrisburg Heat on Saturday, December 14th at the PA Farm Show Arena. Will they have a team by then?
That's something that hopefully we'll know next Sunday for sure. Since I could only find one player. I know you couldn't really find anyone.
I found the coach.
Anything you want to tell us about him?
His name's John Williams.
He was assistant coach halfway through the season after they made that coaching change. So as part of the staff just before that St. Patrick's Day massacre. When we started to see Mississauga kind of come together.
And then that was it. That's
all
she wrote. Fun fact, they're the only team in the MASL to play in 6 different cities.
Yeah, somehow they worked out so that they can play at 6 different neutral sites.
Yep.
Which, I don't think they're neutral sites. You're playing in Canada.
Still in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, Canada.
Just to showcase.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it works out, because, if, they play in Kingston, they play in Oshawa, they play in St. Catharines, they play in Brampton, Sarnia, and Windsor, so, that's kind of a hike for Mississauga.
Well, that's the problem, is that it might work out for the team to be able to showcase these different places, but it's not going to work well for the fans. Depending on how much travel your fan base is willing to make. I'm sure the hardcore fans will make it to every single one, but some of the other ones, they're just not going to want to make the drive.
Hopefully they have fans in just each one of those 6 cities.
Yeah, it hurts the home team, and it definitely doesn't help road fans. I know we had, before the season and this announcement, discussed going up to Canada to catch a game, or maybe both of them. And then they put the games against Utica in Windsor, which is a 6-7. Yeah, it's a terribly long drive, not worth it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we did drive to Harrisburg.
That was still 5 hours.
Yeah, it was 5 hours. You didn't have to get an enhanced driver's license. It's close enough, and we know 81. You know what you're dealing with on that.
Yeah.
We don't know Canadian roads.
Plus, there was a bar right down the road that had amazing food.
Yes. Yeah, that was the Appalachian Brewery.
Yep, that was delicious. Okay, that's all I got for Canada.
Topic.
Yeah, I don't really have much else besides the one player that we know of is Mo Babuli's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
He was announced as the captain. So last week when I mentioned those Lancers jerseys, the reason they have them is they partner with Marvel.
Yeah, I saw that.
So they're doing special home and away jerseys for the 12 games in Canada.
Yeah.
Since the first one is against the Lancers, the Metrostars will be wearing a Thor-based
style jersey. Yeah.
And the Lancers got Loki. which I think just works out because, like we said last week, it looks like a true Lancer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because I read online that the Metrostars partnered with Marvel for like an entire week or month or something like that, where, like you said, they're going to have the Marvel style themed jerseys. Because I saw one of the players had the Thor one, because that's when they debuted the Lancers one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's an interesting.
It's an interesting gimmick.
It's a good partnership. I mean,
oh yeah.
I think that's the only what they're hoping is, if we go with Marvel, which everyone knows, that'll maybe bring people in.
Partnering.
I'll be interested to see what the rest of the jerseys look like, and I hope the Utica ones go up on auction after, because, I mean, you're nerds, I'm nerds. We're all nerds here, as well as sports nerds.
You're nerds.
So, I would throw money at a Marvel-themed Utica City jersey.
You know that, what is it, Futurama mean? Take my money! Take my money!
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Shut up and take my money.
Shut up and take my money.
Oh,
I hope they have an Iron Man style one. Anyway, off topic.
Well, we're the road team, so we'd probably get a villain. I don't know if they've announced anything. I could see like Spider-Man and Mysterio, or Iron Man and Ultron.
Yeah,
but
I'd throw my money in an Ultron jersey.
Yeah, I could.
Hand over fist, just take it.
Just take it. Yeah, that's really all we have on Metrostars.
Ta-da!
Short, sweet, and
onto the Lancers.
Inconclusive.
Onto the Lancers.
Yeah, Brandon, you want to get us talking about our in-state rival?
Yeah, the complete opposite of what you just said about the Metrostars. I've got a lot. So we did have the Rochester Lancers. They previously played in the MASL between 2011 to 2015 from the Blue Cross Arena. From 2015 to 2018, they then went on hiatus and then returned in 2018 for the 2019 season, or 2018 to 2019 season in the MASL 2. They went 8-4 in their season. They were second in the Eastern Division. They actually won the division finals, and they ended up being third overall in the league, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Some new players to the team. We've got a lot of mix of old faces, returning Lancers from a few years ago, some coming up from the MASL 2, as well as new acquisitions from other teams. And of course some new rookies. But for the most part, not too many are coming from other teams that I could find. The first we're going to lead off with is coming from Utica, Christian Esposito. He was one of the backup goalkeepers for Utica City. It was his rookie season in 2018 to 2019. No real recorded playing time, though. We pretty much had Coughlin every game without fail. But some other experience he's had, he played in the UPSL for Super 9 after college, and they won the American Division. So, interested to see what he can do. Another is Jake Reed. He's a defender. He trained with the Silver Knights in the 2017-2018 season, and in college he played for the Buffalo State from 2012 to 2014. Again, not too much information on these guys, but could be interesting to see them when they actually start playing in the MASL. Another one we've got is Brian Wolanski. He's a midfielder. He played semi-pro soccer for Force Soccer Academy from 2013 to 2019, and he actually trained with indoor soccer legend Kia. I couldn't find anything else other than Kia, who played for such teams as Kansas City and Tacoma.
For the fans that have followed the sport longer than those of us in Utica, I'm sure they recognize that name.
Okay, so yeah, because last season me and Michelle was basically our introduction to the MASL. We don't know some of these, previous stars in the MASL arena. So unfortunately, I don't know too much about this Kia person. So we've got another addition is going to be Matt D'Amico. Another midfielder. From what I can tell, it's his first season in the MSL. He played for SUNY Geneseo. He earned 2 times all SUNY AC honors and all East Regional honors for previously playing for SUNY. We've got a defender, Jeremy Lunkau. He played for the Lancers NPSL team in 2019, and of course, assisted them with going on a playoff run in that season. Before that, he played for Monroe Community College and Brockport College, and during his time at Monroe Community College, he earned the Chancellor Award, had 10 goals, 14 assists throughout his college career. And then we've got another goalkeeper. We've got John Ciavaglia. Again, if I butcher any names, I apologize. He previously played in college for Roberts Wesleyan College from 2014 to 2018. He was a starter for 2.5 seasons. He was a team captain in 2017 to 2018 for Roberts, and he played 43 games. And if the name sounds familiar, even though I'm probably butchering it, I guess his cousin, Peter Ciavaglia, is a former Buffalo Sabre and a Rochester Amherst hockey player. So I thought that was a cool tidbit to find out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we've got Frankie Kiliberto. He's a midfielder. He attended Worcester Polytechnic Institute, where he won the conference tournament and made the NCAA appearance in 2017. Played 3 seasons out of 4 at the college due to injury. In that time, he scored 8 goals and 6 assists. His father, Frank Kiliberto, was actually an original Rochester Lancer who played in 1984. Now, some of the returning players that I could find, returning whether it's from previous seasons when in the MASL or MASL 2, or even some of the returning from their NPSL.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the 2. I'm going to start with the 2 captains that we have. So the first is Anthony Rosano. He's a defender. He was with the M2 season in 2019. Played 9 matches, 4 goals, 2 assists. He also played for the NPSL team, and as I mentioned, he is one of the co-captains in the upcoming season. The second is Michael Cunningham. He's a forward. He played for the M2 Lancers last season, 13 games, 13 goals, and 5 assists. He also played 12 matches with the Lancers NPSL Outdoor, with 6 goals and 3 assists. And again, he is the second co-captain. We also have August Finn. He's a midfielder. Played last season, again, for the M2 team, as well as the past 3 seasons for the NPSL team. And in 2019, he was actually named the M2 Rookie of the Year. Another player is Gary Boughton. He's a midfielder. He's actually played over 100 games with the Lancers. I know that I believe Jake Schindler also had that honor of getting over 100 games with the same team. He got that milestone in the M2 playoffs of 2019. He's got 48 career goals, 39 career assists, 3 of 5 seasons seeing the playoffs that he's played. We've got another midfielder, Tim Crawford. He played for the Lancers in the 2014-2015 season, and then also played for the Silver Knights in the 2016 and 2017 season. He's played 10 games for the NPSL Lancers in the 2017 season, and during that time, he played 547 minutes of those games, and only 2 goals were allowed while he was on the field during that time. So you can't, of course, attribute all of that to him, but it's still kind of an interesting thing to learn about his time on the field. Next, we have David Wright, who is a midfielder / forward. He played for Schultz Soccer Academy in 2012 2012 to 2013 in the PDL. 2013 to 2014, he played for the Rochester Rhinos in the USL. 2015 to 2017, he played for the PSC FC in the UPSL. And then he spent a season with the M2 Indoor Lancers and the NPSL Outdoor Lancers. We also have a veteran of the Lancers coming back, Jeremy Ortiz, who is a midfielder. He originally signed in 2011 with the Rochester Lancers. It's his 5th season with the team. And he actually played on the 2015 to 2016 Baltimore Blast, who, of course, took the MASL championship that year with 14 games, 2 goals, 4 assists. Running down the list, we still have Alex Harling. He's a forward. Again, played for the M2 Lancers. 12 games, 3 assists in regular season, and 1 playoff goal as a defender. In the NPSL season, he had 12 games and earned the Kick This Defender of the Year. I guess in the off-season, he was then converted from a defender to a forward. So he's kind of going to be changing things up this season. So next we have Austin Gerber. He's a forward. He was in the MLS Combines in 2015, but unfortunately he was injured and was unable to continue. He is now an M2 Lancer and with 10 games, 6 goals, 1 assist. Our last two that we have are Sean Hantes, who is a midfielder. He attended the University of Rochester and played with 14 goals, 4 assists, a 3-time UAA conference champion, and he was an MASL Lancer in the 2014 to 2015 season. Played 6 games with 1 goal. And finally, we have Peter Di Lorenzo, another forward. He joined the NPSL Lancers in 2018 with 1 goal, 1 assist, and attended college at Brockport, where he holds the record for the second most goals scored at 42 goals. Now, I took note of a couple of notable departures from the team that I knew of. Of course, those being ones that were previously lost to Utica, but only one that's confirmed for this season. So we've got Jake Schindler, of course, who came from the Rochester Lancers. Actually, I think he played for both Utica and the Rochester Lancers in the previous season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the Lancers captain, played all 12 of their games at M2. And then that last weekend of the postseason where they had their championship and the MASL had their opening weekend of the playoffs, he was in California to play games. The semifinals were Friday. He played the third place game Saturday, flew back, and then played in the game for Utica against Baltimore on Sunday.
And he still performed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is that he's kind of a powerhouse.
And I believe Utica has him locked up for this season and next.
Mm-hmm. Which is perfect. I mean, he's definitely one to hang on to. But for Utica last season, he had 16 games, 5 goals, 5 assists, 12 blocked shots. He's definitely shown that in the right situation he can be a bruiser, basically, when needed. And he's definitely been an asset to the team on defense.
And that was in a bit of a limited role last year. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think his M2 stats, he was averaging 2.1 points per game. So
I mean, being able to potentially have him play all 24 games that we have this season instead of, just only having him in 16. I mean, I could definitely see, with the other additions to the defense, of course, I can definitely see, we're having a very solid defense this coming season. Mm-hmm. And as well as, his transitions to offense just during games. He just seems to perform at any place in the on the field. And then, of course, the other is Domenico Vitali. I have not seen anything about Vitali anywhere. doesn't appear that he's signed for any team. So at this point, I've got him listed as unsigned, but obviously last season he played for Utica. In that season, he played 17 games, 3 goals. He had 2 assists, 19 shots, and of course, in the playoffs, he was able to get 1 goal and 2 assists. Looking forward, we have the 2020 season. They open, of course, as Michelle mentioned, with a series against Canada, Friday, November 22nd, and Sunday, November 24th. They play 4 times total. Their first game against Utica is Friday, November 29th, with 4 games total against Utica. And I know that at least some of the Utica faithful will be going to that game.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Michelle.
Bite me.
Other opponents include Kansas City, Harrisburg, St. Louis, Baltimore, Florida, Milwaukee, and Orlando. Some more than others. I think they play Kansas City, Harrisburg, and at least Baltimore probably 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I think Florida maybe 3 times. Milwaukee, I think once. Orlando once. And the other ones, I'm not sure. A couple times each. I think some of their toughest challenges this season are going to be Baltimore, Milwaukee, Utica, and Florida. But again, I haven't seen any of these guys really play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting just because they're coming from M2, which in theory has a lower level of talent,
Mm-hmm.
and isn't based purely on market or financial flexibility for the teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what a top tier M2 team under Doug Miller, who, if I remember the stat line last year, suited up a few times to actually play. So I don't know if that's out of the realm of possibility this year. But to put them up against like your mid tier and your low tier M1 and see how they do, that.
Well, again, you have to look at it too that they are getting a lot of new talent from what I can see.
Right.
I see a lot of returning faces, but only maybe half the team from their MASL2, and they've got of course they have to do what every other team has to do. They have to build up the chemistry. They have to make sure that everyone's performing where they can and at the level that they should be. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a grab bag with them.
What? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Out of the 2 teams that we covered this week, they're obviously more well prepared for the season, at least from a public viewpoint. And I think it was a Front Row Soccer article that I read. Just pointed out how local the Lancers team is.
That was one thing that I definitely noticed, is that they were all, had some ties to Rochester.
Rochester, Buffalo. They were a Western New York team.
Mm-hmm. And I give them props for being able to find all that local talent. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to see basically the hometown boys, and really not having to go looking anywhere else. That's or maybe not having to, but just not wanting to. I don't know what the mentality is, but it's great to see. I can't argue it. Just have to see what the results are.
Another news this week. No roster moves for Utica, so we'll assume that who they have on the team is who they're going with, and
thank God.
Anyone else is just reserves that we won't see, barring tons of injuries, and hopefully Diegues gets his visa stuff cleared up so he can be an active player. The team's out and about a little bit more as the season comes up here. They're at a Comets game for that Oktoberfest. They're at a Comets game this past Friday. They're out at 72 as we record. We just saw the first commercial during the MLS Cup for the team.
That's right.
So
practice those victory celebrations.
Yes. Less than a week a week and just under a week because of the 2-hour game time. We'll be at the Adirondack Bank Center watching them take on Canada and seeing how things mesh.
Yep.
I mentioned we spoke with Andrew at the Comets game on Friday there, and just it's at least from there, they're excited. They're ready to get back out there. They're ready to perform for the fans, and they believe they have a good product that is capable of winning the Ron Newman Cup.
I mean, I would imagine that they're as excited as the fans are to be back, just because of the atmosphere.
If not more excited. I mean,
it's got to be pretty intoxicating for them, as well as us. I mean, it's just a great environment. I always excited to go to every single game, every Sunday or whenever.
It's great to see the team as part of the community.
Yeah.
It wasn't... I put up the video on our Twitter and Facebook of Coughlin and Zuniga rolling the turkey in between periods.
Yeah.
It was interesting to watch. I don't know if turkey bowling will be a pro sport anytime soon.
I doubt it.
Combine it with curling, give it some rules, and Utica might have 2 stars right there.
This is precisely what he came to Utica for. Turkey bowling.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Yeah. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, that's all I got for the Lancers this week. So
pretty short episode. Next week we'll actually be able to talk about the game, break it down. As was teased on our social media this week, hopefully we have a pretty solid giveaway coming up over the next few weeks.
I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to make that happen.
There you go. If it doesn't happen, you can blame Michelle.
Perfect.
Cool. Nailed it.
I'll
be to blame anyway.
All right, well, that is everything for us this week. Thank you for listening. Until next week, when we actually have some soccer to talk about. I'm Matt.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Michelle.
Have a good week.